And who am I? That's not a secret I'll never tell. You know you love me. XOXO. Gossip Girl.
What's up? We got Gossip Girl, Season 4, Episode 5, Goodbye Columbia. This episode starts off with Serena trying to hail a cab to make it to class. A man appears out of nowhere and puts a woman into a cab that she hailed and sends it off. He uses the opportunity to ask her out, but she rejects him. At Columbia, Blair and her Columbia minions are, which I put Columbia minions. Blair and her Columbia minions are walking while they present her with businesswoman portfolio. She could look for inspiration. Serena catches up with her and explains that she's been late for English lit class and it's affecting her grade. Blair encourages her to talk with her professor and try to figure it out. She says that she's headed to the registrar to sign up to the psychology of business class taught by Martha Chamberlain. Serena wonders how Blair is staying sane despite Chuck declaring war, and Blair replies that the more she stays on campus, the less likely she runs into Chuck. At the law, Rufus drops by to see Dan, but finds Vanessa there instead. She tells him that things between them are fine now and there's no more secrets. At the Empire, Dan has finished up telling Nate the same thing, and he invited him to go with him and Juliet to a mixer at Hamilton House. Dan agrees and asks to go to the movies after, but Nate says that they're planning to consummate their relationship after the party. Meanwhile, at the jail cell, Serena goes to talk. Juliet is talking to her brother Ben. She tells him that Serena is isolated from Dan and Nate, and soon Blair will be too. Ben reveals that he knows that Juliet's dating Nate, but Juliet reasons that she only is in with him to stay in Serena's close orbit. He reminds her that they're planning to ruin Serena's life and leave her with nothing the same way she did to him. Ooh, what did Serena do to this Ben guy that makes him out? What did Serena do to this Ben guy? That's what I want to know. What did Serena do to this Ben guy that makes him and Juliet want to take her down? And the next step is removing Serena from Columbia. At school, Blair and her Columbia minions go to the registrar to register, but find there's a line. Blair mentions to her Columbia minions to move and becomes face to face with Chuck. She demands to know why. She demands to know why he's there. She demands to know what he's doing there, and he says that he's going to audit a few classes before breaking ground on Barbass Memorial Rotunda. I guess he changed the name of the charity, I guess. He reminds her that he's going to take away what she cares about most as revenge, and that will be Columbia. After he's gone, Blair instructs her Columbia minions to come back later and sign her and Serena up for the class quietly. While Serena, Vanessa, Dan, and Nate meanwhile, Serena, Vanessa, Dan, and Nate receive a Gossip Girl blast informing everyone that Serena has an STD. At the Hamilton House, Serena complains about the blast to Blair. Blair tells her that Chuck is hanging around at school and is planning to become Martha Chamberlain's assistant to protect herself. And she's planning to become Martha Chamberlain's assistant to protect herself from Chuck. Serena decides to go outside and act like she doesn't have a care in the world, and prove that the blast doesn't bother her. Outside, Juliet's talking with Dan and Nate, about who Serena slept with. According to Gossip Girl, Vanessa shows up and asks again. According to Gossip Girl, Vanessa shows up and asks Dan alone. While they're gone, Juliet asks Nate to get tested before they sleep together. He eventually agrees to drop by the clinic after his lacrosse game. Meanwhile, Dan swears to Vanessa that he didn't sleep with Serena, and she decides to believe him, and they head off to the game. In quiet, Juliet spots Serena and goes over to talk to her, and Serena acts suspicious of her. Juliet tells her that when Nate saw the blast, he freaked out. Serena doesn't believe her until she spots him heading into the health clinic. She goes over and asks him not to get tested because he'll be confirming the rumor. He sends Dan to get himself checked instead, and tells her that she isn't his priority anymore. At the law, Vanessa arrives home to get Gossip Girl tasks about Dan's sign into the health clinic. Back in Columbia, Blair brings a cherry pie to Martha, but when she arrives at her office, she discovers Chuck is already there and has taken the assistant's position. That mother chucker. I can't believe that's a Blair line. Blair literally called Chuck a mother chucker. Because they can't swear in the show. But still, back at the Waldorf, Blair invites Martha over, and Blair reveals that she knows about Martha's divorce and they divorced over philandering with a nanny. She offers to set her up with one of the lawyers at Cyrus' firm as long as the position is still available. Martha skeptically agrees, and outside, Serena sees the same man put another woman in the taxi she needs. He admits that he leaves at the same time every day, hoping to see her, and she gets in with the other women. After Vanderwoodens, Dan complains to Rufus about Serena has an STD, and Vanessa's freaked out over the photo on Gossip Girl. He promises nothing happened between them and him and Serena, and Rufus encourages him to show Vanessa that he's over her and that she's the only one he cares about. Meanwhile, Columbia, Vanessa finds Serena and asks her if she slept with Dan. Before she can ask, Serena is offended by something she said, and they stop talking. While walking away, Serena gets a text from her professor that she missed that meeting. At the Empire, Chuck meets with Blair's Columbia minion, Zoe, and she admits that she's over doing Blair's dirty work and wants to take her down herself. Chuck warns her not to get ahead of herself and asks her for information on her plan. Zoe hands over Blair's latest scheme. At the Hamilton house, Nate gets a text that tells Julia that the STD test results can take up 3 to 4 days to get. She wonders if there's another way to know for sure. Maybe talking to someone Serena would have. And Dan suggests talking to Blair, and she leaves and calls Ben, saying that Nate is right where she needs him to be. She spots Vanessa and hangs up. Vanessa admits that she thinks Dan slept with Serena and needs help getting answers. Julia reveals that she has an idea for the both of them to get answers. Beginning with Vanessa inviting Dan to the Hamilton House party. At the party, Serena tells Blair that she missed her meeting, but the meeting at the party. Vanessa steals Serena's bag from the coat check and brings it to Juliet, who tells her to check Serena's email. She does and finds an email from Dan that afternoon, saying he's willing to do whatever to make it work with Vanessa. This way, they're only kissing that night. Juliet says the check, saying that she has Serena's insecurities too, and tells Vanessa to make sure no one's coming. While she's gone, she sends in an email from her phone. When Vanessa gets back, she says she found nothing incriminating and they can go. She sends Vanessa bring the bag back, but keeps the phone. Meanwhile, Dan goes to bring Martha to the lawyer. Elsewhere, Vanessa returns the bag and tells Dan she's ready to go. They decide to leave. During the meeting, Blair finds that the lawyer she set up was replaced by a woman. Martha's offended that Blair assumed she was a lesbian and kicks her out of the class. Martha compliments the woman's scarf, and Blair realizes that Chuck must have set her up to get her kicked out. Serena approaches her professor and introduces himself to the dean as well. She apologizes for missing their meeting, and Dean tells her that they need to speak privately due to her email offering sex for grades. She shows Serena the email, and Serena says it did come from her account, but she didn't send it. Vanessa wins the conversation and confronts Juliet, but Juliet, of course, denies sending the email, saying if they could steal her phone, someone else could too. Vanessa tell her that they had her phone anyway. Meanwhile, Blair and Chuck face off in their respective plans to win over Martha. She overhears and decides to quit. Afterwards, Serena realizes her phone is missing, and the Dean tells her they'll talk on Monday. On her way to tell Serena, Vanessa stopped by Juliet, who begs her not to tell as she slipped the phone into her bag. Vanessa's about to tell Serena when Juliet tells her to call the phone to find it. She does, and it goes off in Vanessa's bag. At this point, Dan and Nate have wandered over, and they all place the blame on Vanessa. But of course it's Juliet, but these guys of course blame Vanessa. Because after the party, the Dean tells Serena she doesn't believe she sent the email, but needs to rethink her priorities. She also tells Blair that she's watching her as well. Serena as well as Serena and Lee. Serena tells Blair that Vanessa started the rumor and Juliet helped her figure it out. But nope, Juliet was the one that started the rumor and blamed Vanessa because Vanessa was going to tell you the truth. That's what happens. That's what happens when you blame. That's what happens when you get on Juliet's bad side. She decides to blame you for something she did. Blair leaves after this revelation. Serena and Juliet agree to be friendlier towards each other. Meanwhile, Chuck and Blair talk. He promises to again get in the way of everything she wants, and alludes to maybe revealing the real reason she banished Jenny. Ooh. Blair warns him not to, saying that would result in mutual destruction, and he tells her that he doesn't care as long as she has nothing, as he has nothing to live for. Yeah, his girlfriend left. His ex-girlfriend wants nothing to do with him, so yeah, he definitely has nothing to live for. At the law, Daniel arrives to find Vanessa ready to leave. She explains she's headed to stay with her parents for a while, and tells him it's important he knows that she didn't send the email, and he says it's more than that. She didn't believe him in the first. It's more than that she didn't believe him in the first place. At the bar, Serena is drinking alone when she runs into a cab guy. He promises that if she tells him why she's drinking alone, she can ask him anything she wants. She replies, no matter what, she tries to start over. Her past will always follow her. She asks why he's with a different girl every night, and he answers that he stopped apologizing for his past a long time ago. At the Empire, Julia is on the phone with Ben, and of course Ben is mad that Serena didn't get expelled. Julia offers that's a good thing because now she's close to Serena and can find a bigger way to take her down, can find something bigger to take her down with. She also promises, there's nothing that she's only using Nate, and she's only using Nate, and after hanging up, she heads to Nate's room for champagne, and they begin making out. Elsewhere, Chuck decides makes a call to get Jane an interview with Tim Gunn to help her reply to Parsons. Yeah, so that's episode 5. Goodbye, Columbia. So yeah, next episode, Jenny's gonna be making her grand return, and yeah, after what we spent half a season not liking Jenny last season, Jenny's going to be making her grand return in the next episode, Easy J. And it seems like Chuck is going to be bringing her. I guess Chuck's next vendetta plan against Blair is to bring Jenny back to town? So, yeah. So we had Juliet's next plan against Serena. Ben was obviously not happy that she didn't get expelled because that's what he wants. He wants Serena to pay for what he did to them and his family. What he did to him and their family. So, yeah, what's Serena do? But anyway, yeah. And so, yeah. But literally, Juliet said, yeah, maybe this is a good thing. Now with Serena mad at Vanessa, Now that Serena angry at Vanessa, she can now get into Serena's corner and be the person she can turn to. So then she can use that as ammunition to find something better to take down Serena. So yeah. Again, why is Nate always dating manipulative girls? I don't know what's up with this guy. He can't find a normal girlfriend. He always has to find someone with a mysterious agenda. Who always has someone to find someone with a mysterious agenda who he thinks is normal, but of course is a manipulative psychopath. First Catherine, then Bree, and now Juliet. This bro cannot win. The girlfriends that he's dated are psychos. Why can't Nate in the series find an actual girl who likes him for him and is not a lying psychopath who wants revenge on one of his friends? Technically, Carter wasn't one of his friends, but still, technically, who's only dating him to get revenge on a specific person? Catherine wanted revenge on Vanessa for trying to deal with Nate. Bree was only using Nate to get back at Carter, and now Juliet is only dating Nate to get back at Serena for something she did to her family in the past. So yeah, this is what Nate has to deal with. He never gets a normal, competent girlfriend who loves him for himself. They always have to be scheming girls who don't actually love him and are just using him to get back at someone else. Bree was only using him to get back at Carter. Juliet is only using him to get back at Serena, even though she says she's not actually in love with him. But she is. But she's only using him to get back at Serena. So yeah. Season 5. Or this season, but mostly season 5. Have Nate get an actual season 4 or 5. Have Nate get an actual girlfriend that, 1, isn't a villain, 2, doesn't have a mysterious vendetta against a person he cares about or dislikes, and 3, is an actual normal person. Because that's what I feel like this show is lacking. People who are actually normal who want to date Nate. At least Vanessa was normal, but their relationship only broke up because of their relationship only ended because of his relationship with Jenny So, yeah. And his and Serena's relationship only broke up because of course, she was secretly falling back in love with Dan. And also, she was also back in love with Dan, and also he was having mysterious, and also Jenny was trying to get in the way of the relationship, and also he's did a lot of stuff which she didn't like. So, yeah, and she still wanted to be friends, but that eventually turned him against her. So, yeah. Why can't Nate get an actual girlfriend? But it seems like Jenny's going to return next episode. So yeah, let's review that one. And I'll see you next time for Season 4, Episode 6, Easy J, which is a reference to the movie Easy A with Emma Stone. Very weird that they have 2 things, A and J. Weird. But anyway, that's it for this video, and I'll see you next time for Gossip Girl Season 4, Episode 6, Easy J. You know you love me. XOXO, Gossip Girl.